Hey man.
Mr. Webber, nice to
Hey,
meet you. How you
nice to meet you,
doing?
bro. Good.
No, thank you for taking the time, man. Oh,
Pleasure.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, no, thanks for taking the time, mate. I'm really glad to meet you. First off, I've seen the first 5 episodes of the series, thanks to the lovely Katie and the team at the Public Good. It is epic, man. You totally crushed it. Absolutely love it. I've been a long time Spartacus fan ever since the original series, and to see it resurrected and to come back the way it does is just really cool. But I mean, my first question, obviously, mate, like when you get the call saying House of Ashur, you're going to be playing Tarchon, you're going to be a gladiator, what was that feeling like getting the call for this project?
A wave. Oh, just a wave of like a wave of relief, a wave of joy. Um, because when you're in the mix of something, it's always you're on a wire. It's so fickle. It feels like
Yeah,
it's a little bit of magic that you can't quite hold. So definitely
yeah,
when I got that call that the part was mine, I was just like, whoa, like that's
yeah.
epic. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you do a fantastic job on the show, man. And I guess it leads into it because watching the series, like you're like the bad boy of Caprio. You're like the Leo DiCaprio of, DiCaprio with the show. And how is it fun sort of playing that aspect of this sort of rebel gladiator and, a very sort of martial, very where everything's sort of, controlled with the ludus and stuff. And you're like the guy who's just, pushing the edges and sort of trying to do your own thing. Like, how is it playing this sort of bad boy character?
It was frustrating, bro. Like it was fun. It was fun in the sense of like it's so different from who I am.
Yeah.
And so many things that I normally wouldn't like. Jordy would be like, "Why the heck would you say that? Why would you do that?" So it was quite cool to
Yeah.
like unapologetically play into those opposites. Um, but it was yeah, so much fun that like he's got such a cool arc. He's not a
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
note at the start. He's quite stubborn and arrogant and all those things, but he's got a beautiful
Yeah.
journey to it. So as an actor, the
Yeah.
color
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
cool.
And as I said, I've only seen the first five, but and what I've seen so far, it's very interesting to see where he goes. And you do get that, multi-dimensionality of the character, which is really cool and just
Mm.
very cool. Like there's sort of a bit of Gannicus in there, but there's like a little bit of Han Solo as well. And you're like, sort of Achilles as well. So I think it was quite cool to sort of get all these flavors of Tarkon and sort of see that going. And I guess another thing that I really observed in the show was obviously Tarkon's a Thrax, so he fights in the
Yep.
Thracian style, with the curved sword. And obviously, we know Spartacus himself was a Thracian. The historical record's very clear. Was there an allusion to the way you played Tarkon as a Thrax, like sort of being potentially maybe a Spartacus kind of like in that vibe, and sort of going into the way you do fight in the arena? You've got this very balletic kind of style. You're almost like the John Wick of the Colosseum as Tarkon.
Mm.
How did that sort of play into your characterization of him?
It did, bro. Like, obviously we hear of the champions, as of
Yeah.
old, and obviously like
Yeah.
living, being from that house, knowing that in that house there was Spartacus, there was
Yeah.
Crixus, and all these
Yeah.
superstars. So I guess young and starry-eyed myself, like my
Yeah. Yeah.
first
Yeah.
time going into the arena is in this series. So for me, it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm going to be one of them too. So obviously
Yeah.
you take a lot of Targon takes a lot of inspiration, being like I want to be like one of these guys, I want to be the best. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
his dad's constantly trying to keep him in check, saying, like, son, don't worry about being flashy. Don't worry about all of this. He's just like, just fight smart and like fight
Yeah.
safe. So I guess my
Yeah.
own flair on my character comes like I,
Yeah.
I can get quite fancy with my moves and I do some
Yeah.
quite artistic things and even my style
Yeah.
as my youthfulness, I guess, and trying to
Right.
find
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes me different and stand out. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you kind of move almost like a bullfighter, like there's this fluidity to the way you fight compared to say like, Dan Hamill, who's like the OG is Calados and everything. And it's interesting to see the sort of that dynamic of like the young buck who wants to sort of go for it and maybe the old war dog who sort of, knows how to do it. So I think that's really interesting. And obviously like like Dan's like an OG. He's like the OG gladiator.
Mm. Oh.
Really loved about the series as well, this new angle of a father-son dynamic in, the arena. And just do you think it's exploring that? Obviously, we haven't seen that in Spartacus before, but and maybe not giving any spoilers about where it goes, but did that give sort of interesting dynamic to your character? There's this closeness, but you're in a world of death, where you don't sort of have control of your own fate.
Oh, bro, that was, I think, one of the greatest gifts of that show for Dan and myself. We became so close as friends outside in real life, but also like
Yeah, yeah,
our bond that we formed as father and son on that. Like him and I have never felt that connection as actors before. We just found
Yeah,
something
yeah, yeah.
like, wow, maybe it was the stakes of life and death, and maybe it
Yeah,
was because we were fighting together in the arena and our lives are
yeah,
on the balance. So we
yeah,
bonded in a way where it's just like, holy heck, I've never felt this as an actor when you're
yeah,
bonded and you're tethered
yeah, yeah,
so closely to another actor. But maybe it was that those scenarios, like when you're in the arena, bro, like, and there's
yeah,
hundreds of people around you in real time, there's an
yeah,
energy that comes from that, and it makes you really feel like you're there and you're in it. So when you go through
yeah, yeah,
experiences like that together, oh, you'll see our journey as we go throughout the show. Like they become
yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah, you feel their hearts and you really
You
feel
do,
this like
yeah,
love between them and love and like friction and all these things. So
yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
dynamic to explore in that world. Mm.
No, 100%. Especially when you talk about connection, because when they first go out into the arena together, there's that moment where they sort of take like, we're going to be there for each other, and it sort of goes very interesting in that fight in episode 5, which is just epic, bro. That fight was so bloody cool to watch. But that moment of like, there's that real cathartic, like father-son moment of like, this could be it, this could be our last moments together, but we're going to, try and triumph. And I think that's quite interesting, that sort of play into that, the way you're talking about that and seeing that echoed in real life as you described as well was really cool.
Mm.
And that fight, man, how was it like filming that? Because obviously, you do get thrown around a bit. So
Oh,
I
heck
mean,
yeah.
you got the frame for it, but man.
Yeah. No, you still got to be on, bro. Like
Yeah,
that fight, I mean, that fight was a dream. That fight was so much fun. I think that's everything that you want to do when you come onto a show like this. You dream of those
yeah,
moments. You dream of being in the arena. You dream of like swinging the sword around
yeah,
and
yeah,
going a few rounds with somebody in there. And I remember on the day, oh, we shot that over a week or so, but
yeah, yeah,
we both got our parents in. So when we knew that we were filming those moments, I
yeah, yeah,
organized to
yeah,
get my mum and uncle up. My
yeah,
dad
yeah,
came
yeah.
on not too long before, and then he flew his parents over from Australia because it was such a big
Nice.
part for us. And we are
Yeah,
like, you
yeah,
know
yeah, for
what?
sure.
We've never taken our parents to set. So we wanted our
Yeah.
parents to be there while we did our big moment. And that was like, holy heck, that's special.
It's
Yeah.
definitely a cool moment to have to have your mum on set for that. Like that
Mm.
is pretty bloody cool to see. In terms of I get obviously you went through Gladiator school, and we all if you're a Spartacus fan like myself, and I'm sure you were as well going into the series, sort of what it was. But when you're there, what's it like when you're actually in it? You might see it, but are you prepared for it, or is it you just get chucked in the deep end by Alan Poppleton and it's all go?
You're not prepared for it at all. Like you do the,
Right.
you do the training and it's awesome and it's hard at the start, but
Yeah,
then it starts sinking into your body. You start memorizing the moves and the combos and everything.
yeah, yeah,
But again, like he did say, because we were getting smashed and we'd be tired from all that training. And then he was just
yeah,
like, wait,
100%.
this is nothing to when you start filming because you only train for like 4 or 5 hours and that was the whole day
Yeah,
and then you're resting.
yeah,
But when you actually
yeah,
get to set, it's like, oh no, you're fighting for like 8 hours.
yeah, yeah,
And you're doing lines
yeah,
between it and you're doing it
yeah,
over
yeah,
and over again. So I
yeah,
guess
yeah,
you can't really be prepared for something like that because it's so unnatural. But
yeah.
it was fun.
No,
It was
but
fun as heck.
no, it showed, man. I mean, I did say to a couple of friends, some of my female friends, that I was going to chat to you, and they did pull your picture. I'm like, yeah, he's hot. Yeah, so you
Oh,
definitely
sweet.
got the ladies, man. They all thought you were very dreamy. So,
Oh,
so
thank you.
yeah.
Crack up.
I had to say that because they'll see this. So yeah, it's sort of a nice little thing. I think, one thing I also really loved about Tarkin's story, that we see in House of Ashur is he's got a really interesting relationship with Elata, played
Mm,
by the beautiful and talented, Eden Hart. And there's this, obviously Spartacus, has a lot of skin. It gets a bit racy there. But
mm.
I think between your two characters, between Tarkin and Elata, there's a real love and chemistry, that is quite, interesting. And that even though they are slaves of the period, he's a gladiator, whatever, it's like this one thing where secretly they have control over their own lives in these like very self-contained moments. Was that something interesting to explore on your end? Because we haven't really seen that in Spartacus before.
Yeah. And I think that was interesting and again, such a beautiful thing to explore within Tarkon's world because
Yeah,
there are
yeah,
a few love stories in the House of Ashur and there are some romances here and there and they're all different.
yeah,
They've all got
yeah,
their
yeah,
own,
yeah,
they've all got their own flair. And I think that the special part about Tarkon and Elatas is that yes, they're both slaves, but they're both young. they're younger than
Yeah.
Spartacus and his lover, they're younger than Crixus and his
Yeah,
lover.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like because they're almost like high schoolish in the way they
Yeah,
love.
yeah, yeah.
Like, hey,
100%.
like
Yeah, yeah.
let's we know this is wrong, but let's do it. And they're quite like the secrecy and
Yeah.
the purity of it. It's so young at heart, and I think that's refreshing
Yeah.
for the Spartacus world. It's not so like high stakes and everything. It's like these two are just
Yeah,
young
yeah,
and
yeah.
blind to the world.
And innocent and yeah. Yeah. No,
Um,
100%.
yo,
Yeah. No,
and
no,
I think sorry,
no, you go, man. You go.
I was just going to say, and the other thing is even exploring the difference between Tarchon when he's on the sands and when he
Yeah.
goes into, and he spends time with Elata, it brings out a whole different softness of him that he doesn't show the
Yeah,
boys
yeah, yeah.
and the other men.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's a lover and he's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
really soft, but anytime he's out on the sand and he's fighting, he's a bull. So
Yeah.
that was,
Yeah. No.
mm,
No, no, nice. Yeah. And nice to see that dual characterization coming as well, because that was something I wasn't expecting. I'm like, oh, this is really interesting to explore that in the show and really cool to see. Again, and I guess another thing I really picked up on watching the series is like obviously you're on the sands, you're like kicking ass, slaying, all that, but there's a real political intrigue, jockeying for power kind of thing. And it's not just in the Roman world. Like obviously you got Julius Caesar doing his thing, but
mm,
there's this sort of upstairs, downstairs, Downton Abbey with swords nature about it. Like everyone's trying to sort of get their position of power and find their influence and stuff. Was
mm.
that again something interesting for you to explore? Like, something different. You're not just hacking people up, but it's also the mind games and the manipulations for Tarkon, and because you do see
Yeah,
that with his character.
big time, bro. Like I'm vying for power a lot against Achillea. Her and I are
Yeah,
just we're on a constant dance for this
yeah,
series especially. But
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it is definitely within in our own way, like between the
yeah,
gladiators and amongst our men. Obviously, we have no idea of what's going on upstairs. That's a
yeah,
whole
yeah,
life of power in a different world, but it's
yeah,
still
yeah,
very
yeah, no,
real within our own friends. I think we just hold it less against, especially
yeah,
our brothers. It's like if someone's stronger than us, one of the other men are stronger than us, it's
yeah,
simple.
yeah,
I've just got to get
yeah, yeah,
stronger. And then we fight, but we say it as it is and we
yeah,
speak
yeah,
things up
yeah,
front. I think that's the thing is our vie for power and the way in which we try to take it is we'll say it to somebody's face and just be like, I want to beat your ass. I want to smash you because I'm stronger
yeah,
than you.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas back up
yeah,
there, it's like all the things they do underneath. So
yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's a nice contrast between them and us going like, we just say it how it is, we'll fight it
yeah.
out, and whoever's stronger, you're stronger than
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, definitely, man. Definitely. I definitely get that. And obviously, look, you got Nicky Tarabby, fantastic as Ashur, like, and really shows he's got the leading man status. And
Yeah.
obviously, Graham McTavish as well, like another OG. What, like, obviously, you're a young thespian, you're doing your thing, like, you're going places. What was it like being with these, like, sort of, legends, like, sort of learning from them? Like, did you pick anything up from them in terms of thespianism and acting? And because, like, having them around on set must be really exciting and great to learn from.
Oh yeah, bro. They're
Yeah, yeah,
powerhouses. There were a few freaking hard hitters on that show. Hey, like
yeah,
um
yeah, yeah,
yeah, working with Graham was really cool. Working with like
yeah,
everyone's got a superpower, and you kind of
yeah,
start to pick that up the more you do. And the bigger the actor, you notice, okay, that's their superpower. So Asher had a voice that just booms everywhere, and you can hear it on the show. His resonance is huge. Graham
yeah,
McTavish
yeah,
was like superpower for me was like stillness and like his stillness and his emotion and his eyes for me was like whoa. So I do scenes with him and be like, dang, all right, I'm really taking that. Um, and then I guess, yeah, I'm just in my discovery of that myself, and the more jobs that I'll do, I'm kind of
yeah,
taking a bit of this and a bit of that, and learning how to use my superpower in a way. I guess for now, my superpower would be my movement and the way that I move and the way that I'm physically with my body and my
yeah,
voice.
yeah.
It was really cool working with some of them, man.
Yeah. No, the cast is just awesome. And again, like I think people are really going to be surprised by the show because I'm gonna be honest, man, I've watched it like 4 times. Like I
Yeah.
was lucky to get an early preview and I just like smashed it on a weekend, smashed and kept going. It's just so good, man. It's such a good
Wow.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love it. It's really good, man. And I guess in terms of the historical, because obviously Spartacus is, it's very heightened, it's got
Yep.
this great visual flair to it. It's bloody, it's intense, like it's dramatic. It's like was it Hitchcock said about melodrama? It's like real life with all the boring bits taken out. So it's definitely got that vibe, but it's very historically accurate as well. And was there sort of an emphasis on doing research about your gladiators and stuff like that, or about the time period, or did you just go straight off the page?
Well, to be fair, I actually, for myself to get a feel, I work in a spiritual way. I like
Yeah,
working
yeah,
working energetically. I kind of get an idea of the world. Tarchon was, Tarchon and Celadus are fictional. Oh, no, like they're non-fictional. Well, they're fictional. Um, but for me, I wanted to get a feel of the energy of the place, and that would
yeah,
inform how I played this character and his age and everything. So I actually, once I found out I got the role, I sold my van. I was living in Australia. I had a van. I
yeah,
sold my
yeah,
van and I just bought a ticket to Rome and I visited the Colosseum and Pompeii and I just spent a month there
yeah,
cruising
yeah,
around and getting a feel for the place. I went to the Ludus in Pompeii, walked through that
yeah,
place and just kind of sat with it. So for me, my research was physically seeing that place so I could know how it felt standing in a training grounds. I wanted to feel how it felt when I was in the middle of the Colosseum and all of the energy that came with that. So those feelings informed a lot of my characteristics and a lot of the ways in which I would feel when I was in a ludus and amongst the men and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, interesting. Yeah, yeah. Because I like that the feeling, you're using like and sort of maybe drawing on that sort of the history gone by to form the character. So that's really cool, man.
Mm.
In terms of I guess I mean sort of like it's the question you probably get asked a lot, but obviously Tarkon's yours, you own him. But if you had to choose another character, maybe you could like pretend to be for a day. Like who would you want to like have a go at?
Caesar?
Caesar? Yeah,
Caesar. I think that'll be
yeah,
cool. Like, I admire Calidus. I think every little
yeah,
boy's gonna love, every man's gonna love Calidus because he's pretty much our version of an Aragorn on this show. He's
yeah,
soft, but he's stoic and he's
yeah, yeah,
strong.
yeah,
He's just like
yeah,
every man's dream of a father. So
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think I was like, wow, he's such a cool character. But for
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
own selfishness as an actor, I'd want to go play Caesar or someone that's just like a bit more posh, a bit more powerful, a bit more free. He's just got
Yeah.
no limits on the
No
action.
inhibitions, kind of spicy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
love
But
that.
again, I think you get that with with Tarkon as well. Even though he like, I mean, he is a slave, but he does what he wants, man. Even though he spars with his old man and spars with Achilles, like he doesn't sort of like to be controlled. And I think you'd sort of add that flair. But I mean, you'd be a pretty cool Caesar. So yeah.
Oh, thanks, bro. Yeah.
In terms of because I know my time's sort of coming up, but in terms of sort of next kind of projects and things you're doing, like is there another like if you were like if stars came to you like Jordi, like any project you want to do, any genre, like what would be your like sort of next dream role that you'd like to take on, like sort of a whether it's like a crime thriller or something sci-fi or horror, like is there a genre or type of character you really want to play?
Oof. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty.
Yeah,
I love period pieces. I love
yeah,
fantasy. I love
yeah,
sci-fi. I'd probably want to flip and do a Jedi or something, or a
a jet,
pirate.
yeah.
I just love
Okay, yeah,
things
yeah,
in the
yeah.
world and of a time because it takes you so far away from the way
Yeah.
we live normally. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And just, I mean, this is just sort of my nerdy kind of film questions, but like, are there any sort of favorite directors you like watching? I'm just like curious to know, like, because obviously you're an actor, so that means you're a viewer and you consume a lot of films. Like, I'm just curious, what are your sort of tastes in movies and stuff and directors?
Mm. I mean, Terrence Malick's really awesome for a
Yeah,
lot of his naturalism and his light, and
yeah, yeah,
his capture of raw human emotion. Steven Spielberg, amazing, amazing.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and Guillermo is really artsy. I think he's done some
yeah,
really precious films as well.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I've got more films, like certain films all over the place from different directors, more so than like just loving
yeah,
one person's work. I think
yeah, yeah, yeah,
maybe
no,
that's
for
me as
sure.
an actor too. We love variety. So you like
Yeah,
having
yeah, yeah.
a film in this genre, and then you want to switch it up and watch something over here, you know?
Yeah, yeah, no, no,
Hmm.
that's cool. I could see you as a pirate, man. I think that'd be quite fun.
Right.
You'd get better run for his money.
Yeah.
Maybe do like a like future Tarkon, like like Descendant or something like that. No, he's like a badass pirate. I think that could be quite cool.
There you go.
Um, I guess if you had sort of three words to, or if you wanted fans to take something from the series, like what are sort of the three words you'd use to describe it? Like, what do you want them to take from it? Because, as you said, like I binged the series hard, and
Hmm.
it's really freaking cool. And I'm just curious what you sort of would want fans to take from it.
Hmm. Dream. I think this series will allow you to dream. It's big.
Yeah,
It's again
yeah,
far from our own lives.
yeah,
Um, I want them to take away. I guess, unapologetic, be unapologetic. Like the things that you're going to see in the words, the profanity,
Yeah,
the bodies, all of it. It's just like it's
yeah,
so in your face. And if you really want to enjoy the experience of it, don't mock it, don't be sorry, don't feel bad or feel, you know, um, it's too in your face. So just be unapologetic when you show up to watch the show, and I think you'll really enjoy the experience of it.
yeah,
Um,
nice.
and just enjoy it, man. Yeah, just enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's a treat.
No,
It's a treat.
100%. It is a treat. It's like, and I think that was the thing because it was unexpected as well, because obviously we know how Spartacus ends, I mean, it's like one of those things where you go into it, you sort of know the ending, but the way you guys have come back with the story, I think is really cool and unexpected and it just opens it up for a whole new world. Obviously I've only seen the first five, so I don't know where it goes to from here, but I think there's going to be some definitely some cool stuff. And I mean, have you been able to check out the whole series yet, or have you just seen the premiere, or like where
I've only
yet?
seen a
Or
couple episodes too, man.
okay,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
all I can say, and all I know is that
yeah,
every episode just gets more hectic. So you've seen
yeah,
it for five. Just imagine from
yeah.
there, it's just like even more.
I don't.
Even more.
I mean, I don't know what to expect, man. Like the end of five, I was like, oh wow, where the hell's this gonna go? And now you've got, like Cornelia involved in everything. So, I mean, maybe she casts her eye over Tarchon or something. But I think it's definitely a cool show, man. And look, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me today and talk about the show. I mean, just congratulations on it, man. It's absolutely epic. It's just awesome, man. It's fantastic to see the world of Spartacus, back in action with the House of Ashur. So yeah.
Pleasure. Thank you, Samuel. Man,
No,
appreciate
cool.
it,
No,
brother.
that's awesome. Cheers, bro. Cool.
Cheers.